Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. Partha, you can be the personality on the social media. So we're doing Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the third day. We're right in the beginning. We're just in the introduction. So we are officially live on YouTube. Again, we're doing Srimad Bhagavatam. This is an introduction. We talked about yesterday, we just started the introduction, we did the preface. In the preface we discussed how Srimad Bhagavatam is going to fill the need for the entire human society. We have a misdirected society that is completely identifying with something that they are not, which is the body, the mind, and a false identification or a false ego that has nothing to do with who they really are. And in the beginning of our introduction, we were talking about some of the delineations of how the Supreme Controller, God, delineates his energies. And it was compared to like a government system where there's someone who's sitting at the top and then he deputes different duties to different officers. You could say demigods, a sun god, a moon god, all these different elemental gods that are, and then even all the way down to us as the insignificant living entities. So now today we are going to discuss, in the Bhagavatam is going to give us a really great understanding.
The screen is not shared.
What's that?
Screen is not shared.
Oh, screen is not shared. That's good. I'll share the screen. But the Srimad Bhagavatam is going to actually enlighten us in this great need and almost in one sense give us an interview with the CEO of existence. For those who want to know the meaning of life, who are meditating on the absolute truth, the Bhagavatam is for you. And this is what we're really trying to do in the world, is give people the absolute truth. They may not like it. Most people actually are very comfortable in their illusions. And even if you know the truth and you try and tell somebody something beyond their purview of truth, they might get discouraged with you or even angry with you. But it would be violence to the soul, who is the real nature of each living entity. It's violence to the soul if we don't tell them about the absolute truth of their own soul and their connection to a supreme soul, also known as God. So, Parth, I'll have you take this. I'll get you a Mangalacharna up here. All right, and we're just gonna read some prayers. In this lineage, we do not try, and at least it's not of good taste, to try and just speak without offering respect to your teachers. So we will chant such prayers all together. These are in Sanskrit. You may not understand the meaning. You can look them up later if you'd like. Feel free to leave a comment, like anything you'd like to know. Om Adhyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Sarvadantikam pause there. Parth, I'll take the laptop for a second. So this prayer, we do one prayer a day where we actually we talk about what it is we're actually praying. The first 2 days did the first 2 prayers. You can go back and watch them if you'd like. But this one is, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, and unto the feet of all the Vaishnavas. This prayer is actually one of the best prayers we have, this mantra, because it's covering all of our spiritual bases of all the personalities in this lineage we want to approach to receive the divine mercy. So it starts with the spiritual master, the one who's personally enlightening you, and that happens. There are many personalities who are qualified to enlighten you, at least to some degree. And then, unto the feet of all the Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavas are the devotees of the Lord who are also practicing, and they're also living by the Shastras, or the scriptures, and giving the conclusions, and helping you with the nuances. So both the spiritual master, who is a Vaishnava, and all the Vaishnavas who are working together. So we want to offer our respects to all the devotees of the Lord and get their mercy. Then I offer my respectful obeisances on the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, as well as Raghunath Das, Raghunath Bhatta, and Gopal Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. These, with the exception of Srila Jiva Goswami, who is the nephew of Rupa and Sanatan Goswami and their direct disciple, they were all associates of Lord Chaitanya, and he instructed all of them to become Goswamis, which were masters of the senses, those in the renounced order of life. And they each had a different duty to perform to actually spread this movement of love of God, the simple message of just love God and live your life in a way to love God. So these are actually some of the chiefs who actually established Vrindavan and actually spread these teachings all over the world. Like I said, we're reading now the English translations of Srila Prabhupada's books. We talked about this yesterday, but these are all explanations of all these Goswami's books and literatures that they were ordered actually to discuss and bring out to the world by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the most recent incarnation. We're going to learn about him today, of Krishna, an avatar in only 500 years ago, who was giving this divine teaching. And he never himself would like to claim that he is God, even though it was discovered by many of his associates that he is indeed a personality far beyond the ordinary scope of a normal human being. That's for sure. But he would never liked to say God. But his whole message was to learn about God, also known as Krishna. Learn about Krishna. Chant his holy names, worship him, and ultimately. That's it. Worship Krishna, chant his holy names, and follow his instructions. And by doing this, one can have perfection in this life and the next. So, and then we move on up the ladder. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya, we just mentioned him, and Lord Nityananda, his divine counterpart, along with Advaita Acharya, another divine personality who arrived with Lord Chaitanya. These divine personalities, we think like, oh, God doesn't need anything, he'll do everything by himself. But actually they have friends. He has a posse that he likes to travel with and perform pastimes with. But this is the nature of God. We would think, oh, God is so powerful. He could just be a one unified person. But the reason he creates a variety, why? Is to exchange relationship. That's where real love is. Without two, there cannot be love. So without the many, there cannot actually be any exchange of love. And that's actually the ultimate meaning of life, and that's what God enjoys the most, and he actually enjoys the most for us when we can exchange love. So we're trying to learn how to love. So Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivas, and other associates, I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani, Krishna's ultimate, and Sri Krishna, along with their associates, Sri Lalita and Vishaka. Radharani and Krishna are the ultimate lovers. It's the one God's first expansion to be the two lovers of Radha and Krishna. And then they have many other friends, such as Sri Lalita and Vishaka. We won't go much deeper than that. So I'm going to give you this back part, but just a little explanation of some of these prayers. We're offering our obeisances up the line, up to the ultimate, the personality of Godhead Himself, but in their topmost form as the lovers Radha and Krishna. So we did Vande, huh? Hey Krishna, Karanasino, Dinamando Jagatpate, Gopesha Vikramanta, Radhanostute, Taptakanta Gorandi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhani Sate, Pranami Vaipre, Panchakalpataru Vishya, Vasandevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Offer a prayer to Srila Prabhupada, who brought these teachings to the West, and is the spiritual master who enlightened the whole Western world. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pristaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Jayane, Nirvishesha Srimad Bhakti Again, back to the divine avatars who started this very movement. We're trying to continue on. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Namo Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura. And the very mantra that they said are the names of Radha and Krishna. And by chanting this mantra, we can try and establish our divine connection, and they can descend upon us and offer us their mercy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All together. Now we're gonna say a prayer. There's another tab in there. Prayers to the Bhagavatam. Maybe find that. Oh wait. Maybe I have to refind it.
I can just open.
Get a new tab. Don't exit out of that.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Parthvani, tell us, what does it mean?
I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva.
Yeah, we're asking the Supreme Personality to bless us. Remember, we're pursuing the absolute truth here, and the absolute person. So we're asking Him to bless this time in which we come together and study. And now we'll do some verses from the Bhagavatam that help set the mood of how we should view the Bhagavatam.
Namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam
Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, and unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
So before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is going to be the essence of the absolute truth, the meaning of life, we're offering thanks and praise to the personalities from which it was disseminated in the link of the cyclic succession, and now we are studying it from the author, who composed it, Srila Vyasadeva, but he learned from Mother Saraswati, Narayana, and she learned Narayan Rishi up to Narayan. So like this, there's a chain, a link, and we always want to offer gratitude to those who have helped us in our journey. Without gratitude, we can't get their mercy. So, where are we?
Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Nitya Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted.
Okay, so Paramatma is the Godhead within everyone's heart. We're trying to understand our connection as the individual soul to that Godhead. Not that we are God, but we are part and parcel of the Supreme God. And when we are truthful, he'll cleanse desire for material enjoyment, which is actually the ultimate sickness that we all have. We want to enjoy the fruits of this world, not realizing that this is an illusion. This is only the enjoyments of a body and a mind, and in an identification with this body and mind that actually isn't us. It's just kind of like our car that we're riding right now. But if we only worry about or you could say like we're a bird in a cage. If you only worry about polishing the cage, but you don't worry about nourishing the bird inside, it'll be useless. So we're not interested in the enjoyment of the cage, we're interested in the enjoyment of the bird. And material enjoyment is the enjoyment of the cage, and spiritual enjoyment is the enjoyment of the bird, the real living entity within that bodily cage and mental cage that we've somehow been placed in. So these messages will cleanse us of this, and they're virtuous when properly heard and chanted. And finally,
By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact.
so by regular hearing of this absolute truth of the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotees of this absolute truth, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. Why? Because the troubles that we are creating are due to our illusions and our misidentification with the body and the pursuit of these material happinesses that can never fully make us happy, for they are temporary. And they have really nothing to do with who you are as a soul. They can't nourish your soul. It's like only polishing the cage of your bird, but then starving the bird inside. So this can be completely destroyed just by hearing about the nature of, oh, I'm the bird in the cage, I'm not the cage. I shouldn't worry so much about the cage. Not that you shouldn't keep the cage for purposes of divine service, which we'll get into. That's what the Bhagavatam is going to talk about. But loving service unto the personality of Godhead, this is the meaning, the ultimate meaning of life. This is what we were created for, to serve the Absolute, to serve as part and parcel of the Absolute. We're all doing service, including the Lord is doing the greatest service of creating existence for the fun of the living entities. It's actually all meant to be fun. That's why the Lord creates existence, for Leela, or play, fun. So, but in this, we're kind of in a drama right now where we can't get to the fun part unless we overcome this sticky situation that we're all in. Not, unfortunately, dealing with misery after misery that this material world offers. But it doesn't have to be this way. So he's praised the transcendental songs, and your love will be established as an irrevocable fact. I'll take that now. We'll continue our reading. And then we'll spend half the time doing prayers. And then actually only a little time of the actual reading itself. But it'll be good. We'll go a little longer today because we started late. So, a short sketch of the life and teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the preacher of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is one of the... we discussed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not an ordinary personality, and he was definitely exhibited all the symptoms and was predicted in the Bhagavatam to do what he did of exhibited all the symptoms of an avatar, which is a divine personality who will descend down into this world to actually save it. Many people, like a messiah of sorts, but actually directly God himself. So his main message was to preach Bhagavatam and spread the holy names and love for God everywhere. So, which is the message of Bhagavatam. So, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great apostle of love of God and the father of the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, advented himself at Sridham Mayapur, a quarter in the city of Navadvip in Bengal, on the Falguni Purnima, evening in the year 1407 Shakabda, corresponding to February 1486 by the Christian calendar. That was only like a month ago we celebrated that. His father, Sri Jagannath Mishra, a learned Brahmana from the district of Sylhet, came to Navadvip as a student because at that time Navadvip was considered to be the center of education and culture. He domiciled, can someone Google, what's domicile mean? He domiciled on the banks of the Ganges after marrying Srimati Sachi Devi. I believe it just means lived, settled down to live. Yeah, settled down.
Permanent home.
What's that?
Treat a specified country as a permanent home.
Okay.
Reside or be based. Yeah.
Okay, so he settled down on the banks of the Ganges after marrying Srimati Sachi Devi, a daughter of Srila Nilambar Chakravarti, the great learned scholar of Navadvip. Jagannath Mishra had a number of daughters by his wife Srimati Sachi Devi, and most of them expired at an early age. They died. Two surviving sons, Sri Vishwarup and Vishvambar, became at last the object of their paternal affection. The 10th and youngest son, who was named Vishvambar, later became known as Nimai Pandit, and then after accepting the renounced order of life, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his transcendental activities for 48 years and then disappeared in the year 1455 Shakabda at Puri. So he wasn't always named Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This was kind of a title that he took. Maha is great, Prabhu is master. Sri Chaitanya is Chaitanya means like the living force or potency, and he was Krishna Chaitanya. He's like the living force of Krishna. But he was really, he had really wonderful pastimes, and we're going to learn. He has all these really fun and funky childhood pastimes, but he's always teaching us lessons. Similar to how Krishna, in his pastimes, there are so many wild and funny and cute and crazy stories, but actually, in the midst of that, there are really deep lessons that we can learn and apply to our lives. So same with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For his first 24 years, he remained at Navadvip as a student and householder. His first wife was Srimati Lakshmi Priya, who died at an early age when the Lord was away from home. When he returned from East Bengal, he was requested by his mother to accept a second wife, and he agreed. His second wife was Srimati Vishnu Priya Devi, who bore the separation of the Lord throughout her life because the Lord took the order of sannyas at the age of 24, when Srimati Vishnu Priya was barely 16 years old. For those who don't know what sannyas is, it's a complete renunciation of... sorry, I have to open up a jar for my wife. It's part of husband duties. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took this sannyas, and it's almost unthinkable. In Western culture, it would seem like the most horrible thing to do. So you leave your family. They can't even, in West, you can't even fathom any meaning of life except to provide for your family and give pleasure to your family. But ultimately, we can never, despite what we try, we can never give ultimate satisfaction to anyone, including our family members, unless we teach them about the ultimate goal of life. And sannyas is the complete rejection of all type of temporary activities and a full pursuit of the ultimate goal of life. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at only 24 years old, with a young wife and a widowed mother, left and became a sannyas. Of course, because he had so many devotees in the area, he had deputed them to take care of his elderly mother and even his widowed wife. But it's unthinkable at 24 years old. I'm 31, and I definitely can't imagine never associating with my family members, nor my wife, ever again, and being fully dedicated in pursuit to the absolute truth. And also never taking any money, never taking any job, living completely at the mercy of God. It's a complete sacrifice of everything, and one in full faith of God. That, but this is actually a position that the institution of Varnashram Dharma, or what's now perverted as the caste system in India, it's ultimately supposed to, it could bring you to this top level of just completely surrendering all material attachments. So it was more popular in ancient times in India, but it's still popular today. You see many renunciates, even though a lot of times they do nonsense things, like try to have sex life with women, or drink all kinds of intoxications and things like that, or even have wives, which is against the principles of sannyas. But anyway, there's all kinds of things like this. So anyway, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his transcendental activities for 48 years and then disappeared in the year 1455 at Shakabda at Puri. For his first 24 years, he remained at Navadvip as a student and householder. His first wife was Srimati Lakshmi Priya, who died at an early age when the Lord was away from home. When he returned from East Bengal, he was requested by his mother to accept a second wife, and he agreed. I read that. Sorry. So after taking sannyas, the Lord made his headquarters at Jagannath Puri due to the request of his mother, Srimati Shachi Devi. The Lord remained for 24 years at Puri, Jagannath Puri. For 6 years of this time, he traveled continuously all over India, and especially throughout southern India, preaching the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is when, during his preaching travels in these years, this is when it was established to many all over the country that this was an incarnation, an avatar. This was not an ordinary personality. And he didn't become some magnificent person. It was revealed he was a magnificent person coming here for the mission of spreading love of Godhead, to reawaken the inspiration for God all across India. Lord Chaitanya not only preached the Srimad Bhagavatam, but propagated the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita as well in the most practical way. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna is depicted as the absolute personality of Godhead, and his last teachings in that great book of transcendental knowledge instruct that one should give up all the modes of religious activities and accept him, Lord Sri Krishna, as the only worshipable Lord. The Lord then assured that all his devotees would be protected from all sorts of sinful acts, and that for them there would be no cause for anxiety. The reason we're suffering in the world is due to karma, past activities that we've done lifetime after lifetime. But the devotee of Krishna, he's protected from this onslaught of karma, where even when we drive our car, we're killing so many bugs. I mean, I have a car. Maybe you students don't have cars. But, we're walking and doing so many things. We're killing bugs. So much thing is happening, accumulating more karma. But we can be protected from that. How? By full surrender to the Lord and living life in his service. Then anything that happens along the way, he excuses any type of thing. Not that we would try to sin. This is a great sin, to be a devotee of the Lord and try to, I'm protected, so I'm going to let me live a sinful life. But any naturally occurring thing, like maybe you would step on a bug, or a squirrel runs under your car, or something like that, you can be protected. So there would be no cause for anxiety under the shelter of the Lord. Unfortunately, despite Lord Sri Krishna's direct order and the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, less intelligent people misunderstand him to be nothing but a great historical personality. and thus they cannot accept him as the original personality of Godhead. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge are misled by many non-devotees. Thus the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita were misinterpreted even by great scholars. After the disappearance of Lord Sri Krishna, there were hundreds of commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita by many erudite scholars, like very greatly learned scholars, and almost every one of them was motivated by self-interest. So the essence of Bhagavad Gita has been lost. So the reason Srila Prabhupada also, he published a Bhagavad Gita as it is. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita as it is can actually get to the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, to become a devotee of Krishna. In all the modern commentaries, there's so much speculation. Well, Krishna represents the real self, and Arjuna represents the self entangled in the material world, and there may be some parallels like that you can draw, but actually we should not make these mental speculations, which many of these so-called scholars have made. And then we lose the actual essence of Bhagavad Gita, which is to become a devotee of God, which actually all the great religions are preaching. This is Jesus' main teaching of the Christian religion. This is Muhammad's main teaching of the Islamic religion, to become a devotee of God. The name of God is different. They may not accept Sri Krishna, who appeared 5,500 years ago in the subcontinent of India, as God, but that's their, you could say, problem. Our duty is to understand, wow, this is indeed God, and look at what God is, not only the wonderful things that God did, but look what the wonderful teachings He's giving, and look how scientific and practical they are for your life. And any devotee can tell you that their life is much better now they've taken to devotional service to Krishna than beforehand. Every devotee surely can tell you this. But and actually most devotees of other religions, Christians and Muslims, they all agree that their life was in shambles before, and they usually came to God through some type of traumatic experience. This is natural, actually. But the devotees of Krishna, and me included, oftentimes are coming from other religions, because they're realizing the superior offering that this spiritual tradition and that these teachings have to offer beyond all religions. It says to give up all modes of religions, just surrender unto the supreme absolute truth. That is the eternal religion, to be a devotee of God universally. And the devotees, we can go in a church or a mosque, or we can associate with those of all different sects, and we can find a common ground because, oh, you're also a devotee of God. So am I. Or I'm trying to be. We're the devotees of God. We're trying to be. So, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the self-same Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna. This time, however, he appeared as a great devotee of the Lord in order to preach to the people in general, as well as to religionists and philosophers, about the transcendental position of Sri Krishna, the primeval or ancient Lord, original Lord, and the cause of all causes. The essence of his preaching is that Lord Sri Krishna, who appeared at Vrajabhumi, Vrindavan, as the son of the king of Vraj, Nanda Maharaj, is the supreme personality of Godhead, and is therefore worshipable by all. Vrindavan Dham is none different from the Lord, because the name, fame, form, and place where the Lord manifests himself are all identical with the Lord as absolute knowledge. Therefore, Vrindavan Dham is as worshipable as the Lord. The highest form of transcendental worship of the Lord was exhibited by the damsels of Vrajabhumi in the form of pure affection for the Lord. And Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends this process as the most excellent mode of worship. He accepts the Srimad Bhagavad Purana as the spotless literature for understanding the Lord, and he preaches that the ultimate goal of life for all human beings is to attain the stage of prema, or love of God. That paragraph pretty much explains very deeply the whole Krishna conscious process. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the self-same Krishna coming to teach us how to become devotees of who? The original Godhead Krishna, who did appear in Vrindavan, and to see the excellence of this place of Vrindavan, and why we need to go there and discover, one, the place, the pastimes that happen there, and also the moods of the devotees that were devoted to Krishna there. And how this mood is the very mood that if we cultivate such a mood in our life, we'll reach the absolute perfection and attain the stage of prema, or complete love of God. And it's an ecstatic state. And we're all looking for pleasure out of life. But if we turn and look for God's pleasure, He will be ecstatically happy, and we'll become even more ecstatically happy than we ever could looking for our own pleasure. So, we're going to stop there. We got pretty deep. We went to 8 o'clock, which is a little longer than usual. So thank you, anyone who joined.
It's again 8 to 1. Oh, just 8 to 2 now.
Okay. Why did we stop at 8:01?
Yesterday we also stopped at 8 to 1 at night.
Oh, I see. I was saying, no, we stopped earlier yesterday. But yes, we did start at 8:01 at night for the. Yeah. Ah, nice. Very good. Reverse 108. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, okay. I didn't even get it. I was like, what's so special about 8:01? 108 is a very special number, so to stop at 8:01, it's reverse 108. Everyone is very happy here. And we stopped that on that time, all on accident last night for our evening program as well. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. This is our short Bhagavatam study and explanation of the Krishna conscious process. This process is extremely beneficial for you, for me, anyone who's listening. If you are fortunate enough to somehow to stay on the line long enough to get the benefit, you're quite a fortunate person. I feel so blessed to be gifted this supreme knowledge and have this amazing life of being able to practice these teachings real time and help do the service of trying to spread this all over the world. This is an amazing, amazing life's path. But anyway, thank you again for joining us. Thank you to our lovely live students who are always supporting. We need you more than you need us, that's for sure. But we can all hopefully work together for everyone's pleasure and especially the Lord's pleasure. So thank you again. We're going to do our kirtan element now. So feel free to see some of our live worship on our altar here with some music, song, and offerings. And again, Hare Krishna, thank you so much. All right. Jaya Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sarva
Bandho Mui Shri Guru Charan Rati Aise Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charan Rati Aise Uttama Sachi Sutta Nitai Ki Nikolai Nrsimha Ki Krishna Bhagavan Ki Vrindadevi Tulsi Maharani Ki Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Vanantam Vindadayaya Tasham Bhargavatam Samasitam Buddha Govinda, Hari Krishna. gotta get in our little rhythm here. So move up and dance, no problem. Let the Lord see you. Okay. nice every day to spend this time in worship to the Lord with both of you. That's my great pleasure. Anyone who joined online, you could probably control that one. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. And yeah, we'll see you